Well, it's all come down to this. It is going up to Suncorp to decide the Origin series. Let's just go through it. Queensland, I need to ask you this simple question. What do you have against Corey Oates? Like, for real, why is he not selected? Like, last time I did say, like, oh, he hadn't been selected, which was incorrect. He actually was selected, but he was in the reserve part of the squad. Now he just hasn't been selected at all, even though Corey Oates has still been relatively arguably one of the best wingers that Queensland can have. Like, it's a very confusing situation with this. But from the rest of looking into everything else, Jeremiah Nanai is number 12, so he's set to start this Origin, which I think is a very good thing. Tom Gilbert probably is going to come into that number 17 role. Keep Carrigan on the bench, Jai Arrow, Harry Grant. It's pretty much, besides those couple of changes, it is very much a similar squad. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Queensland do go with this team. Obviously, how's Ponga gonna do? Because obviously Ponga's had a little bit of injury trouble, but he will be back for Game 3. Got a few players on the bench who might come in. I'd like to see both Fermor come in by chance. Hamiso Tabai-Fado is in the reserves as well. Sam Walker's actually on the reserves. He's actually number 22. So I feel like at some point in the next couple of years, Sam Walker will start be phasing in as the halfback for Queensland. Probably around the point where Cherry Evans does end up retiring from representative football, which, knowing him, would probably take about another 5 years until he does it. He'll probably wrap it up around the same time as his career. But yeah, very similar team from Queensland for Game 3 with a few changes. So yeah, let's now look at the opposition camp. So after a very decent performance in Game 2, which I must say in the preview, I did criticise Fittler for making a hell of a lot of changes to the Blues team ahead of the second game in Perth. But it did work really well. New South Wales pretty much had a vice grip over Queensland after the sin bin in that match. Coming into this team now, Payne Haas isn't in the squad. It's being replaced by Jordan McLean, which I'm actually very interested to see, because Jordan McLean's actually been a part of like the look around the Blues selectors for the last couple of years, and he finally will be getting his chance in the Blues, starting at number 8 alongside Jake Trbojevic in the prop roles. But aside from that, it's pretty much almost the exact same lineup as the Blues had for Game 2, which isn't very surprising. No Latrell Mitchell. He has said he is not going to be playing for the Blues, so Stephen Crine will be staying as the centre for the Blues. Just trying to think of other players. CSC Vitalikai, Junior Paulo on the bench, Angus Crichton as well. Pretty much that's a very beefy Impact bench. I do see that isn't actually... no, Vitalikai, yeah, he's a centre. I keep forgetting that Talakai is actually a centre, basically being the role that what's that player for St Helens? I can't think of his name on the top of my head. It'll be here, that guy. I can't think of his name. A few players in the revert. Jack Whiten's at number 18. Potentially, I feel like it'd still be Nico Hines will be the injury reserve, but it would be nice to see Jack Whiten. But yeah, so very similar Blues team. Basically, both teams having really similar lineups, obviously with a few changes. But yeah. So now we go into the actual nitty-gritty. Obviously, it's a Game 3 decider in Suncorp, which obviously for New South Wales fans, that is very much been the case a lot over the course of the last about 15 years of Origin. And Queensland have won pretty much all of them. So this obviously is going to be a lot of pressure on the Blues. But to be fair though, I feel like in terms of this match personally, I feel like the pressure is on Queensland. Because obviously Queensland, after last year's Origin, where they lost 50-6 in Game 1 in Townsville, lost 28-0 at Suncorp in Game 2. So the last time the Queensland played at Suncorp it was a 28-0 loss. The first time they've ever been held trialless, or even just pointless, up in Queensland. So, and I think I read a stat somewhere along the lines that the last time Queensland had scored more than 20 points in an Origin game was Game 3 back in 2020, which is kind of actually a bit shocking to kind of say. But what I do feel like is, if the game is going to be low scoring, it is going to be heavily favourable for Queensland. If it's a low scoring game, very much like what Game 1. So basically what I feel like the Blues need to do to win this game is just get points. Basically score early points, get your proverbial foot on the throat of the Maroons, and for the love of all that is holy, don't let off. Because as we all know, there is 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and you do not count out Queensland. You don't rule out Queensland, especially at Suncorp in a Game 3, especially if it's a decider to decide the series. So for Queensland, I do feel like it would be preferable to them if they keep it as a low-scoring game. But so obviously this will be very much noted with the attacking for the Blues. So it's very much, wouldn't be surprised to see there's going to be a lot more attack by the Blues than Queensland in this game. So I feel like the Queensland defense is going to be a major factor for them to win this game, to clinch the series. It's going to be their defense. And obviously with Nanai being pushed up into the second row starting is very much a key example of this happening. So now we get into, who do I think is going to win Game 3? Who do I think is going to win the decider? If we can get a drum roll, I'm going to say that Game 3, the decider of the 2022 State of Origin Series, will be a draw. Yep. 2000 State of Origin Series. We're going for ties. Goes a golden point. No one scores. Absolute blue balls affair. But in all seriousness, I think this is going to be a fantastic game. I mean, as a New South Welshman, it would be nice for the Blues to win. But I also wouldn't mind if Queensland do win, because you got to think of it's weird. It's because I'm from Newcastle and a Knights fan. There is one player in the Blues team who plays for the Knights, but he's very much not going to get selected, Jacob Saifidi. But there are 2 players starting for the Queenslanders who are from the Knights, obviously Callum Ponga and Dane Gagai. So I'm a bit torn. Basically, hopefully they don't get injured again, and I just hope for a good game. So that is my preview and predictions for Game 3. Actually, the decider. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to join me on Game 3 Origin night, the 13th of July, as I will be live streaming the watch along for it, that should be interesting to say at the very least. So anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all later.